I've had this thought before, so I'll take it and bring it to our show. The question was, how many NBA players that are active right now, if you put them on a 16 seed team, like a St. Mary's or something like that, would win the whole thing? Like if you said, LeBron James, you're now on...
Numbers high. Over 75. Closer to 100 probably.
Dan
in the
Byer?
NBA?
Danny G? Like if you said...
Don't undermine and underestimate how next level great these guys are to be in the NBA.
If you took a random superstar...
Brian Scalabrine could lead one of these teams to a championship.
Maybe not now, but you know what?
No, now he beat the Messiah, George the Messiah, in a street ball game.
Right.
He still could do it.
But if you took a Jalen Brunson or, a superstar in the NBA and put him on a 16 seed, how many guys do you think are in the NBA now that could take a 16 seed all the way and just cruise to winning a national title? Like if you put LeBron James, like I said, on St. Mary's.
My answer is 75, because for every superstar on every team, there's a guy who's almost as good. There's a number 2 there, so I'm going 75. You always talk about the NBA's top 75 of all time. I'm just saying 75 just because. I don't think it's a low number. I think these guys are superstars. They've made it to the NBA. They're superstars. They're the best of the best. So I think the number is high. Higher than you think because, again, there's levels to the game.
How about the Sparks men's practice squad?
Think about how many great players don't make the NBA. These dudes made the NBA, and they excel in the NBA. So you got to figure the number's relatively higher than you probably think. That's what I'm thinking. You're saying, again, how many players in the NBA could lead a random team to a college championship, right?
Dan Byer, what's your initial instinct on this hypothetical?
So is Covino saying 75% of teams?
Oh, he's saying 75 current players in the NBA.
Current players. Okay.
It's just I'm picking any arbitrary number.
He's just playing off of like the NBA's top 75 players.
I'm just picking 75 players currently.
It's a random number, but I hear what you're saying.
So if you put Nikola Jokic on St. Francis.
St. Francis.
They win.
They win the whole tournament.
They win the whole tournament.
Without a doubt.
I would say 0.
What? You don't think Jokic
I don't
just
think
power
one
his
player.
way? Carmelo Anthony did it for Syracuse in 03.
I know, but I'm just thinking of just one player. I mean, Jokic would have to have 70 and 30 for like a St. Francis team to make a run.
How do you stop that guy? How does a college nerd who's good at basketball, he's good, but he's not great, who never sees and sniffs the NBA, how do you stop a Giannis?
I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Right.
But I do think that if you run pickup games, and that's what I go to, when you run pickup games, at some point maybe a team gets tired, maybe something happens. Another team that's a little bit less will grab a game, and then that team has to leave the court. And so I would think that at some point there would be one team. Now, I'm not saying they would lose 6 games, but at one point in a game of basketball where you only have one player of that caliber, I would say.
I think a guy like Jokic is a great example because the NBA, they lack big men. So think of college. There's not a lot of great big men. If you took Giannis Antetokounmpo and put him on, how about this? High Point University, who's in the tournament.
Could he lead them to a championship?
I think Giannis could take High Point University and be cutting down the net in a couple weeks from now.
Maybe you're right. You know where I would go? The comparison, because I think that Syracuse still had top quality players around Carmelo.
They did, and they had Boeheim and good coaching. I get it.
It's Steph and Davidson. So they
Hypotheticals
made it to the
tough.
Elite 8.
Yeah.
And you talk about, so like if you put Steph on Davidson now,
They'd win the whole thing.
yeah, you're probably right. So maybe I should back off my 0.
Maybe it's not 75.
Maybe top 10 NBA players.
I'd go with.
I'm saying,
I'd go
honestly,
with
my
10.
real answer, I said 75, DB, just because it's a fun number.
Sure.
I'm saying closer to 100, but it's probably, I'm thinking 60, like 2 per team.
Yeah, again, to give props, I saw Big Cat on Barstool talking to Caruso about this, and they were saying there's probably 1 or 2 guys per team in the NBA that are that level, because you got to think the best of the best 19, 20-year-old college kids would be out of their league even entering the NBA.
Sure.
Like, how do they stop a Steph Curry just from lighting it up? The NBA can't even figure it out. Some college team's going to figure that out?
If Luka or Jokic or, like you said, Jalen Brunson gets hot, and these guys are putting up big numbers against other
SGA.
stars. Dude,
I mean,
SGA,
LeBron James, Kevin Durant. I think all these dudes would lead their team to a championship. Again, it's a hypothetical. I'm not a big fan of them, but it's a fun one.
Well, the reason I think that it's interesting is because don't we always say whoever the best team in college football is that, how would they do against the worst team? And then everybody comes out, all the former players be like they'd lose 80-0 to the Tennessee Titans. But as a golf fan, when people think that players are good, like there is a different level to the Tour Pro. So in a one-on-one situation, Peter Jacobsen his career is over. He now does a lot of TV, but he always said that he was closer to Michael Jordan. Or if you were to compare being a basketball player like Michael Jordan, because he loved to play golf, that Peter Jacobsen was closer to being Michael Jordan as a basketball player than Michael Jordan was of him being a golfer.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Scalabrini theory.
Scalabrini always says, I may have been the worst in the NBA, but I'm closer to LeBron, closer to Jordan than you are to me.
Sure.
That was his thing, too. And
that was always the fun bit with Scalabrini. Big, goofy white guy, played in the NBA for quite a while. His whole gimmick
was shutting up haters online.
Yeah, he would take, these ballers that you would think, they'll battle him. He would blank them.
He'd light them up.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting hypothetical. So
I think it's a good mix with 5 players as well, because there's one that you'd still have 4 others around that if they were schmucks, maybe you could end up taking.
Oh, what about
down.
this? What if you took now I'm going off the rail, so we could stop. But I was going to say, what if you took a WNBA team and put one superstar in it? Would they run the table? Like, what if it was
in the men's tournament?
In the men's tournament. What if you took the LA Sparks and put Kevin Durant on it? So it's Kevin Durant and the LA Sparks. Would they win? Would they win the NCAA tournament?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know
because
how everyone loves to
I don't think so.
Everyone loves to chauvinistically say, a men's high school basketball team would whoop the WNBA, and that's likely. But what if you took Kevin Durant and put him with Cameron Brink and the ladies for the LA Sparks and said, all right, you're now in the Sweet 16. Take it away. I don't know. It's interesting.
Something to think about.
Dumb thoughts I had, Dan Byer.
Thoughts you have when you're on edibles. I mean,
what?
On a random Monday night when you're hanging around.
Yeah, perfect.
I get it. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays so far.
What about if you could pick an animal to then no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, how far do you think you could go?
What if Teen Wolf was on your team, but you also had to have Chubbs on your team?